Hello everyone, it's Yappin' Chopper, and today I'm doing a commentary video. I know that usually I don't do things like this. I play games and I do things like, tropes I hate, but today I decided to do something different because it's my channel and I can literally do whatever I want, and I've made like maybe 2 to 3 videos about this before, but I wanted to try and talk about it again. Today in particular, I will be talking about the obsession some people have with Asia, and when I say obsession, I don't mean like they have a lot of appreciation for Asian cultures. They like their food, and they like the things like, for example, how I'm using literally an anime background, and how my technical mascot for my channel is an anime character. I don't mean people who just enjoy things that come from Japan, Korea, and China, and also other parts of Asia, not just those places, but mainly focusing on those because people usually have a very big obsession with those in particular. I don't mean just like a normal thing like, oh my gosh, I love these meals from Asia, I love like this and that, I love the way like their their convenience stores are. I mean like they love everything down, not that they think it looks clean and that's why they like it, or having this, that, and the third as a reason, but it's just straight up weird. So let's get into parts. Before I do get into this video, this is not me hating on anyone that is going to be mentioned in any shape, way, or form, and don't send hate to anybody. And I do want to eventually make a video that's going to be practically pretty long, where I kind of like deep dive into how Asia has influenced so many things, like not only just aesthetics, but how people want to look, the way they dress, so on and so forth. And I want to talk about how it positively influenced, but also how some people take it too far when it comes to, Asia being their reference for literally everything in their life. Like everything has to be Asian for them, like their music, their style has to come from Asia, their food, literally everything has to be from Asia. And if it's not, then it's unacceptable. I feel like many people know what RCTA is already, but if you're not aware of what that is, RCTA stands for race change. Let me restart that. Race change to another. It's basically transgender, but with race. I'm honestly not sure how this all started, but I think that it started by someone being kind of like, if people can change their gender and that can be accepted, then why can't we just change our race and be accepted that way? And that's how RCTA basically came to life and was birthed by that mindset. The whole entire concept of RCTA in general is just stupid to me, and I don't know if this could be considered a hot take or not. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. If you disagree, then feel free to state your opinion. But in my opinion, I feel like RCTA really roots from internalized racism. And when I say that, don't okay, I don't know how to describe it. When I say that, don't take that and have it as like me saying, oh, anybody who's RCTA is racist. Because no, the reason why I think it's internalized racism is because if you hate your race that much to the point where you don't even want to be associated with it, so you try and change your race, keyword try, because you cannot do that. It's literally a part of your blood. What are you going to do? Take it out and put new genes? Like, that makes no sense. But you hate yourself and your race that much that you just don't want to be associated with it, so you put up this front. And the thing is that some people even have the audacity to not put like any truth out and just go into this account pretending to be Asian using like Google Translate, and half of the time, if not more, like 90% of the time, it's so obvious that they're not Japanese, Korean, or anything like that. But I'm not going to talk about the, internalized racism for too much longer because, like I said, I want to have that for a whole different video. This is not a deep dive, just something that you can see on the surface. If you were to look up RTCA literally anywhere, you can notice that most people are turning, or quote-unquote turning, into Koreans. You could also look up like subliminals on YouTube, which subliminals, I do want to give a warning, if you don't use them or you don't really pay attention to them, or maybe you haven't heard them, subliminals are not only for like RCTA, but it could be like, having good dreams, getting a hair color you like, or getting good grades, like just like this random music and sound effects like that somehow like alters your brain, I guess. I'm probably completely wrong. If you make subliminals, feel very free to correct me in the comments. Like I said earlier, kind of like my hot take or whatever. But subliminals are just like something to like kind of like give you hope and manifest something IRL, like subliminal to pass your test that you have Friday that you've been freaking out over for the like past week, something like that. But ever since RCTA has become a thing, it has also taken up subliminals. So with like subliminals, I already gave some examples like passing your test, getting red hair overnight and stuff like that. They were like, turn Korean overnight, get their features, get straight hair, a small nose, pale skin, so on and so forth, so that way you can quote unquote turn Korean. It's absolutely absurd. And speaking of, you know, turning into an RCTA or whatever, when you look up this, you'll see Asian faces everywhere. Maybe you'll see like a black or Latino face here and there, but it's mainly Asian people. And one person that you're going to see so much in the RCTA community is Wongyun, which I'm probably saying her name wrong, I apologize, but I forgot she, like, what band or group she's from, but she's like a K-pop member, and she's extremely popular. And another thing about Wongyun is that she also has like this quote-unquote aesthetic, like Wongyun like mentality or whatever, where you're like taking care of yourself, you're eating well, you're drinking water, pink everything and stuff like that. Basically Wongyunism, which is like the aesthetic I'm talking about, is just taking care of yourself in a quote-unquote aesthetic way.
Girl, you know you don't relate to a religion, and girl, shut the hell up. Seriously, shut up.
Me personally, which I'm actually going to talk about more of this topic next, but me personally, if I was an Asian person and I lived in an area that was like more Western, like if I lived in America, period, and I was made fun of for the stuff I ate when I was younger, like maybe like, you know, those soybeans from Japan and then like matcha and stuff like that, and all of a sudden I grow up and those things become like a trend, I would go crazy. I'm surprised that they haven't snapped yet and like yelled at people. I bet that there probably has been a bit, but their like videos aren't really there because people like bullied them relentlessly, saying it's not that serious. If you look at literally anything trending at the moment, whether it's cartoons, whether it's photo cards, food, etc., 90%, if not maybe like I want to say 75% of things that you are going to see now are from Asia. Anime was at first not necessarily the most popular thing. I've been into anime since I was in middle school. I'm now a senior in high school, and at first I was bullied for it. I'm not gonna lie. People thought it was weird, and whenever I told them like, hey, I watch anime, automatically something that they would assume is like, oh, you watch hentai? Like, that's so weird because of like, you know, sometimes the unnecessary noises that the girls make in the shows, which I guess I can't really blame non-anime watchers for thinking that when they, like, it wasn't a really popular thing. But something that I've kind of noticed is that with it gaining popularity, it like, sorry, I can't speak sometimes. With anime gaining popularity, something else that also gained popularity overall is Asian culture and influences that it has on trends now. One of the biggest trends right now, or at least from what I've seen, maybe it's dying down, is matcha. Now, people at first didn't really pay attention to matcha until like influencers kind of like made videos about it, like, you guys have to go get this matcha, you guys have to go try matcha if you haven't tried it, have you guys tried matcha, and just making all this like content about it, which of course led it to be popular. I mean, that's what influencers are supposed to do in the first place, influence you. Now, of course, with this gaining popularity, so did haters come, because, you know, there's party poopers that have to hate on everything that is popular because it is popular and they want to seem so different. They're not like the rest. They're not like you, who gets so influenced so easily by these influencers who don't even know you online. Or at least that's what they think. Of course, you don't have to like things that are popular. Everybody is, obliged to their own opinion. I haven't tried matcha. I will admit that I do want to try it one day because I do want to see if it's that good or if it's that bad, because I swear that some people are dramatic over it being really good or really bad. I will say, do I expect it to taste like grass? Yes. And speaking of, the people who complain about it tasting like grass make no sense to me, and the reason why I say that is because, y'all, it's matcha. Like, it was made hundreds of years ago. What do you expect it, like, do you expect it to taste like a caramel macchiato? No, that's straight natural ingredients. Then there's also buldak noodles, there's tteokbokki, which I'm probably saying wrong, I apologize, I feel like I'm overpronouncing it, y'all, I'm very, very sorry. And there's also other foods overall that are just popular from East Asia, like I said, specifically China, Japan, and Korea. Which I do want to say that in majority of this video I will be talking about Korea instead of like the other two, because something that I've noticed is that it's fairly popular and very popular amongst Korea and also Japan. But I just wanted to give that warning because I noticed my slip up earlier and wanted to give like an extra, you know, whatever. Honestly, when it comes to fashion trends, it can be literally anything. It can be like a Japanese styled bag with like Sanrio charms, maybe a Miku charm, and then like some anime character pins and stuff like that. I guess that could be considered a trend, but honestly I don't think that's new. I think that has been here for like maybe 10 plus years, because I've seen people have those types of bags, like, you know, with the clear display for their pins for like their favorite characters, and then the rest is like just a bag for their phone, charger, perfume, etc. I honestly think those bags are so cute, and I really want a Hatsune Miku one because Hatsune Miku is like one of my favorite characters. I have, wait, let me count, 1, 2, 3, 4, like 4 figures of her. I have a poster of her, and my whole entire computer is literally Hatsune Miku themed. So I think I'm gonna get like a bag of that and maybe just make it like Hatsune Miku themed. But speaking on this topic, I am not like, you know, I don't want to like seem like I'm like one of those people who don't indulge in these things, like these things that are getting popular because of Asia, being like, oh, I can never do that, you guys, like you can never see me like that, like that's just weird, because I have indulged in such things like the buldak ramen, some of the fashion, anime obviously, and other things. But the difference between me and some quote-unquote, I mean, keyword, some people, is that I'm not weird about it, or at least I hope I'm not weird about it. I personally prefer Asian, you know, clothing styles and trends over like ones in America, because I like the way that they're styled, I like the jewelry, and I just like how it's like different from America and how all over the world it's different. I find it interesting how you can have like something similar in like all of the world and then something else that's not similar at all, if that makes any sort of sense. I think that is just like very interesting. So I'm not gonna sit here and act like I don't also like kind of participate in those trends, but it gets to a point is what I'm saying. Like, for example, like I said earlier, some people just want like Asian everything. If it's not from Asia, they don't want it, and that's kind of where like it draws the line. Or even worse, when they see an Asian person like, oh, anime IRL, oh my gosh, you're Korean, my Korean boyfriend going with me to a Korean restaurant speaking Korean. Like, it's okay, we get it, your boyfriend is Korean, that doesn't make him any different but being a human being.
Something that has been happening for years, which I am going to fix my mic in a second. I realized that it disconnected from my actual mic. I just realized that. I'm sorry if it sounds distant, but what I was trying to say is something that has always happened throughout history is that people have always been weird towards Koreans.
And when I say that, I don't mean just fetishizing them either, or like their culture and, you know, their hometown and whatnot. I mean like racism, fetishizing, wishing they were Korean, aka the RCTAs, you know. They have always been weird towards them, and I have 2 prime examples that I want to talk about before we get into anything else, because like I said, I have made, now looking back, 3 videos about how weird people are towards Korea, and I'm also going to get towards a part where I'm like talking about how people are also weird towards Korean men specifically. I might just pull them straight out of an old video of mine because I don't feel like really speaking right now.
You make me feel special. Sesam ai murina chuta. Hi, Daddy.
Hi.
My name is Jimin. Are you lying? Because Park Jimin is my boyfriend name.
Your boyfriend. Your boyfriend name is Jimin.
Mommy. 이거 귀엽다. Mommy.
There's more from where that came from, surprisingly, but I did cut off some of them because the next clip after that one that was shown last made me cringe the absolute hardest. For context, in the next clip there was this girl being like, oh, your voice is really sexy, to one of these K-pop guys, or, you know, K-pop members, sorry, not K-pop guys. And the reason why it makes me cringe is because, first of all, her words enough should be cringy to you, honestly. But the other reason why is because she was like, it sounds personally to me, and no hate to her, but it sounds like she was forcing her voice so hard to try and sound hot to like intimidate him. Like, please fuck out my face with that. Now I'm going to talk about people's obsession with like K-dramas, but specifically linking them to Korean men. And also, I just want to give a warning, these photos and videos are going to be blurry, and I'm sorry for saying specifically so much in literally one video, but I hope you guys understand because I am trying to be as specific as possible so people don't try to mix up my words. When some people talk about K-drama, they make it seem like Korea is the exact same way. Like, they bump into a guy, he apologizes, and he's being like a very decent human being. Like, he's like, oh, I'm sorry, picks up her stuff, gives it to her. Then they'll make a post like, oh my gosh, I just had my first K-drama moment in Korea. Like, okay. And there's this like one influencer in particular, I think her name is Darcy, and she's constantly like flexing the fact that she has a Korean boyfriend out of all races. She's basically the prime example of my Korean boyfriend going to Korea with me to a Korean restaurant, speaking Korean, like exactly like that. I don't want to say that she's like exactly like that. She doesn't say it exactly like that, if that makes any sense, but she comes close. Please don't take that as me like hating on Darcy. She seems like such a sweet gal, but that's genuinely how she like comes off. Now, the next thing that I want to talk about is how I personally think certain men creating certain videos to make themselves look away because they're Asian makes the whole entire fetish towards Korean people worse for the people who don't want to be sexualized and just seen as a normal person, even as Koreans. Now, for more context, I mean the guys who are like, oh, who wants a hot Korean boyfriend? Like, we're all really perverted, we're sexy, we're dominant, and just doing all this generalization for the whole entire ethnicity and putting up this image for Korea boos, fetishizers and whatnot, to imagine every single Korean guy looking different yet the same in some sort of way and having the same copy and paste personality. Now, what I'm about to say may sound crazy, but I think that this could rub off on younger children like 11 to 12-year-olds who are going through puberty. They're getting acne, they're getting taller, hormones are all over the place, and they'll see this type and they'll see that a lot of people like it, whether they're inside or outside their race, and this may make them, you know, be encouraged to be fitting in that stereotype and make them feel as if they are not fitting that stereotype, then they're kind of like a failure to society, which doesn't only fuel that for Koreans, but can spread to other races, ages, etc. But that's personally what I think. I doubt that that would happen. Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong, I don't know. At the end of the day, this whole entire video is really my opinion and nothing really factual. I mean, I say a few factual things, but 90 if not more % of this video is purely my opinion.
야, 뭐해? 위험하잖아. 이쪽에서 걸어. 무서웠지? 내가 지켜줄게. 가자.
Me and my Korean boyfriend went to a Korean restaurant to eat Korean fried chicken and breathe Korean air. We ate with our Korean forks, and my Korean boyfriend loved it so much that he bought the Korean restaurant with his Korean money, and now he's the Korean face of the Korean brand in Korea.
데디 플러스 뭔데?
그냥 웃긴
제너레이션 데디.
그냥 웃긴 발음으로 zad이라고 하는 거.
그럼 답에는 쌈이.
쌈이가 뭐야?
마미 플러스
마미.
제드.
마미는 쌈이 안 해.
제디가 뭐야?
That is exactly the prime example that I was talking about earlier. Now, I will admit that I may have gotten this video wrong. I'm looking at it from a different perspective where I'm like, oh, she's doing all this just to show that he's Korean. And the reason why I'm mentioning that is because, like I just said literally a few seconds ago, is maybe she's specifying or emphasizing that he's Korean, so that way, like, it's like, oh, he doesn't speak English fluently. But I don't know, maybe that's the case, maybe that's not the case, but I know that the comments are 100% exactly what I'm talking about. They literally are saying, LMAO, the zaddy in Satori or whatever that means, I need a Korean boyfriend, you guys are so cute, etc. Again, no hate to the commenters, and there was even a person who says, oh, LMAO, he has a Korean accent. He's Korean, of course he's gonna have an accent. What? Now, of course, there's some Koreans that don't have a Korean accent because they either live in a different part of Asia, or maybe they live in America, maybe they live in just a different part of the world where it alters their, you know, communication and they don't have a Korean accent. But if he has lived in Korea and Korean is his first language, of course he's going to have an accent. You make no sense. Like, what? It's like being like, oh my gosh, a fork found in the kitchen. Like, it's the most obvious thing. Again, I am not trying to bully these people or make it seem like they're dumb, of course not, but some of them just have a very questionable relationship, or quote-unquote relationship, with how they feel with Korea. I know that I seem a bit harsh in some parts, which I do apologize for, because I don't want to seem like I'm just saying I'm not trying to be a bully and then I say these rude things as if I don't care. That's not my intention whatsoever. I know I keep clearing it up, but I don't want to seem like some bully that's randomly posting on the internet. But speaking of, you know what, I think I'm gonna wrap up the video here, because honestly I don't have any other topic to talk about. I kind of ran out of stuff. I was originally gonna like talk about how people want to be a K-pop idol, but honestly I don't see a problem with that. Like, it would be like literally a segment, like a section of me talking nonsense about nothing, because I have no problem with people wanting to be a K-pop idol. But, you know, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you have any suggestions on what I should talk about that's similar with the subjects I talked about in this video, that would be lovely, and I'll see you all later.